in the house today. All you veterans, let's hear it. That's right. You know what he thinks about the veterans, because who else could raise over $6 million in 5 hours? Only Donald Trump. Have any of the other candidates raised a single dollar for the hardworking American? I didn't think so, right. They haven't even tried. You're 100% right. Well, Mr. Trump will fight for us, but he needs our help. It is a tight race, and we need every vote. So for all of you that are sitting here right now, we need your vote, because your vote does count. If you don't vote, then you have no say in complaining about how the USA is and where we're at in our world. You have to do something about it. So for those of you earlier in the day that went out and texted your 5 most favorite friends or family members, if you haven't already made that text, please text 5 of your best friends and say, go caucus for Trump today. We need your vote. As I said, it's very, very close. What you're going to do is you're going to exit the door to the right, and you're going to follow the connecting tunnel. You're going to follow the connecting area out there, and you will go cast your vote. But I'm asking you to please be patient. There's over 3,000 people probably in this room right now, and it's going to be a long line. So if you don't want to cast a provisional vote over there or ballot, then please go to your local county and cast your vote there, where there maybe won't be so many people. But if you're getting caught up in the enthusiasm, get out there, go right, be patient, get caught up in the fun, cast your vote for Donald Trump, because without him, we have no hope. He is our only hope, and he is the only one that can make America great again. Please believe me when I say your vote matters, your vote counts, and Donald Trump is counting on you. I tell you all, sit back, buckle up. You're all aboard the Trump train. We are going places fast, people. When we are steamrolling anyone that gets in our way to our next stop, the White House. Thank you.
All right, she's great, isn't she? So I don't know if any of you may have heard, but we got a pretty big endorsement in Kansas this week. Anybody know who that might be?
At KSS, we're helping you make college more affordable.
There are scholarships for just about any hobby you might have.
Uncovering how some pet owners take advantage of the system.
It's very sad that they can go on the internet and get a vest and call their pet a service dog.
Alerting you to the problem of secret phone apps.
These systems are specifically designed to hide information.
And explaining how to delete them from your kid's phone. It's what we do for you. It's why we say at KSS, we've got your back.
Legal immigration, whether it was writing a law for a certain state called Arizona, or trying to help out some ICE agents who are suing President Obama's administration. But you know, we have a presidential candidate finally who's putting that issue at the front of his campaign. And how do we feel about that? You know, every 4 years, we always hear the same thing from some presidential candidates on both sides of the party line. Oh, yeah, we'll secure the border. Don't you people worry about it. And all we get is lip service. Do we get anything done? No. Nothing changes. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm tired of lip service. I want a president who understands that illegal means illegal. I want a president who understands that if you don't have a border, you don't have a country. I want a president named Donald J. Trump. So let me tell you something I bet you never heard. Did you know that they take surveys of federal government workers to see which federal government workers are the happiest? And I know we're not that worried about federal government workers being happy. No offense to the Secret Service guys. But guess which agency for the past few years has been scoring the lowest in job satisfaction? ICE. That's right, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They have the lowest morale of any government agency in the federal government because Obama, for the last 7 years, has been making them sit at desks. They aren't allowed to deport people like they used to be able to deport people, and it is demoralizing. They trained their whole lives to be in law enforcement, and now they're not being allowed to enforce the law. Well, I know this. I know that under a President Trump, they won't be sitting behind their desks anymore. They're going to be the busiest agency in the federal government, and they're going to be the happiest workers in the federal government because they're finally going to be allowed to do their jobs. And, you know, there's another thing that I know that's going to happen under President Trump, and that is Obama's illegal amnesty is going to be repealed. You know, another thing we hear from presidential candidates all the time is jobs, right? And we know that with President Trump, we're going to have a president who actually can deliver jobs, won't we? Well, there's something else I'd like to say about jobs. I've observed this during my career. You know, if you want to create jobs right away, if you want to create a job for an American tomorrow, deport an illegal alien today. And I want to tell you something else about the subject that is very close to Mr. Trump's heart, and that is building a wall, finally building that wall. You know who's going to pay for that wall, right? Okay, well, there are a lot of people in the press who say, oh, you can't do that. You can't make Mexico pay for the wall. No, actually, you can. Did you know that in the Patriot Act that was passed 15 years ago, in the Patriot Act, there's a provision that allows the United States government to shut down the remittances that illegal aliens send home. Bingo, there you go. That's $23 billion a year. So you say to the president of Mexico, I don't know, would you like to make a one-time payment of $8 billion or lose $23 billion a year going to your country? I think I know what answer he's going to have. He's going to say, how soon can I help you build that wall? And finally, I want to end on this subject. You know, Mr. Trump has been receiving some criticism for his boldness and his aggressiveness. You know, in my opinion, that's exactly the kind of president we need. We need a president who will fight back when the bureaucrats in Washington say, we can't do that. We've never done that before. We need a president who's going to boldly tell them, get out of the way then. We need a president who will boldly tell people on the other side of the aisle who won't get on board to secure our country, then get out of the way. And we need a president who doesn't back down when the media calls him names and when the media turns their target on him. Basically, we need a president who doesn't care what the media says, and that president will be Donald Trump. Those are all the reasons I decided that I'm endorsing Donald Trump to be the next president of the United States. Thank you very much.
Mr. Donald J. Trump.
Thank you very much, folks. So I wanted to be in Kansas. I wanted to be here so badly, so I was headed to another direction. I told the pilot, we're going to Kansas, just get here. Now, we don't have much time this morning because in a few minutes we got to go over and caucus. Who's got the right to caucus? Who's got the right to vote? Raise your hand. Good, good. Good. Well, I'm going over with you, okay? We're all going together. This is a movement, folks. It's never been anything like this. They're all saying it. This isn't coming from Donald Trump. This is coming from Time Magazine and everything else. We're on the cover numerous times over the last couple of months. I never thought. It took me like 30 years to be on the cover of Time twice. Now I've done it 4 times in the last 3 months. So something's happening, right? Something's happening. This is better than real estate. This is more fun. But look, we've got to do the right thing. CNN just came out with a poll 2 days ago, 49% for Trump. Next was Cruz and Rubio, Lion Ted and Little Marco. This is not presidential material, folks, believe me. So look, We've got to make America great again. We've got to make America great again. It's very simple. Oh, look, he's got a sign. Show him your hands, Mr. Trump. My hands. Look at these hands. These hands hit a golf ball 285 yards. Look at these hands. These politicians, such liars, liars. I guess when I made the statement about him being a lightweight, he said, let's see. What's wrong with Trump? What's wrong? Let me think about something. Maybe he's got small hands. He's got small hands. They lie. So anyway, look, all kidding aside, our country's in trouble. We owe $19 trillion. Nobody even knows what that means, $19 trillion. That's so much. You can take top people, top people. They don't know what it means. And it's just beyond. They just signed the worst budget deal I've ever seen, the worst. And we're going to change things so badly, so quickly. It's going to go so fast, and you're going to be so proud. You're going to be so proud of your country again. You're going to be proud of your president. And it's not me. I'm like the messenger. We're all together. We're all together. I'm telling you, so many articles. What we've done is very unique because the Republicans were, decades. They made a tremendous mistake when you chose Mitt Romney 4 years ago. He was a disaster as a candidate. No energy, no life, no nothing. He was a stiff, okay, just a stiff guy. He was a loser. And then he comes out. If he would have devoted the same energy 4 years ago to running for president, him and his third-rate campaign manager, I see him on television all the time. Where was he 4 years ago when Obama was doing Jay Leno, when Obama was doing David Letterman, and Romney was looking for his own change to get a 9-car garage built, okay? Where was this guy? So, look, it's the establishment. The establishment is against us. The press back there is against us, although some of it's coming around, I must tell you. I read a couple of articles this morning. Folks. They're coming around. By the way, polls show that I beat Hillary Clinton. Many polls show that I beat Hillary Clinton. These guys, they like to say, well, Donald Trump will never beat Hillary Clinton. I watch him on television. I'm watching Fox. I'm watching CNN. I'm watching MS. And I'm watching television. And I say, well, Donald Trump will never, ever beat Hillary. The polls are showing that I beat her. I haven't even started on her yet. I haven't even started. I wasn't supposed to beat Jeb Bush. He was establishment. He was the one that was getting it. I see all of his supporters on television saying, Donald Trump will not win. Well, what happened to their candidate, okay? It's unbelievable. No, it's so foolish. The Republicans are eating their own. The Republicans are eating their own. They got to be very careful. We have to bring things together. Now I hear, if we, not me, if we win. Look at these crowds. By the way, there are look at this thing. It's packed, this convention hall. Now, I wish the cameras would spin around and show those upper decks where you can't even get on. But on top of that, there are thousands of people outside. I mean, they won't show it. Is there a protester in the room, please? The only way they turn the cameras is if there's a protester, because that's like supposed to be a bad thing. I view protesters as a positive thing because then the cameras swing around. That's the only reason. You can stand there and force them. They won't touch those cameras. I didn't think, you know what? For 3 rallies, I had no protesters. And nobody knew what was happening with these rallies. And I'd go home and my wife would say, were there many people there? I'd say, yeah, about 20,000. She said, really? They never showed that. They only show your face. Now, I like my face, but I'd rather show the crowd. I'd much rather show the crowd. So we're going to win, and we're going to win easily. But now I hear the establishment, well, you probably heard this, the establishment is saying very strongly, and I can't imagine, that if Trump wins now, if I win Florida, and I have a big lead in Florida over a guy that never shows up to vote, Rubio, the guy never shows up to vote. He's got the worst voting record almost in the history of the United States Senate. Who the hell wants to vote for a guy like that? In addition, I watched him melt down under the stare of Chris Christie, who just endorsed me, by the way, and Senator Sessions, and Sarah Palin, and Jerry Falwell Jr., who's been so great. Jerry Falwell, we're leading with the evangelicals all over the country. Leading, big. Because they don't want to vote for a liar. You have Lion Ted Cruz. I nicknamed him Lion. I say lion. How would you spell that? L-Y-E-N. Lion. With a big apostrophe. But, you know, you have Lion Ted Cruz, and he comes in, he holds up the Bible, and then he tells you exactly what I didn't say. All these guys, I say something, I make it very clear, then they get on television, Donald Trump just said, and it's like totally different. I want to tell you something. I used to think that real estate people were tough, especially in Manhattan. They're babies compared to these politicians. These politicians are liars. I meet, you know, it's funny, I meet much tougher people over the years. I've dealt, you know, the people I deal with are much tougher than the politicians, but nobody lies like a politician, nobody. Nobody. So anyway, what we've got to do is we've got to get out today. We've got to caucus. I'm going to go with you. We're going to caucus. And after making this huge U-turn to Kansas, if I lose, I'm going to be so angry at you. Oh. And my friend, did you ever hear of Phil Ruffin? Phil Ruffin. Now, he's from Kansas. He's one of my best friends. He's the sweetest guy. He made a lot of money just by brain power. Just a really smart guy. Great poker player, great everything. So smart, a real Kansas guy. And he's so proud of Kansas, he loves it. I called him up a few days ago. I said, Phil, good luck. You're in charge of Kansas. He calls me up the next day, says, Donald, you're doing well, but you have to be here. I said, I'll be there, okay? So here I am. So here I am. So I want to thank, I have to do this. I want to thank Phil Ruffin. I want to thank all of my, Mr. and Mrs. Ruffin, too, by the way. She's fantastic. I want to thank all of my friends from Kansas. They have been working so hard to get us this victory. And, you know, caucusing is tough. Caucusing is, I never liked the whole concept of caucusing. Don't worry, even if there's a protester, I'm not stopping for you. We don't have enough time. Some of these protesters are very soft. We had one last night in Louisiana. The voice was so sad. It took a whole 45 minutes before we realized it was a protester. I said, don't worry, let him keep protesting. He's got a very soft voice. Don't worry about it. Nobody, doesn't bother us. But look, we've got, just so you understand, we're going to strengthen our borders. We're going to build a wall. Mexico's going to pay for the wall. We're going to re-energize and rebuild our military with the right equipment, not equipment that's bought because companies have political connections and we're putting stuff in there that they don't want. We're going to use the stuff that the generals and that the soldiers and that everybody wants. You know, we buy military equipment based on political connections. If somebody has a plane and they're connected, and then somebody else has a plane and they're not, but the one that's not connected, the plane's cheaper, faster, better, maneuvers better. We buy the lousy plane because of connections. Not going to happen anymore, folks. Not going to happen. You know, same thing with the drug industry. We don't really, essentially, we don't bid out drugs. We're the largest purchaser of drugs in the world. Drugs to make you better. We're the largest purchaser of drugs in the world. And we don't bid it out because the drug companies, they have such a monopoly over these senators that we deal with that they don't bid it out. Whoever heard, we'll save so much money, we'll save hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars by bidding. We will start bidding procedures, folks. We will save so much on waste, fraud, and abuse. I'm so good at contracts. You know, I'm building a hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue at the site of the old post office that I got, believe it or not, many people, over 100 people bid. And when I say people, I mean the biggest companies in the world. The hottest thing that the GSA has ever had, and I think the hottest bid. You know, GSA is like the landlord for the United States government services. Very professional people. The old post office on Pennsylvania Avenue, right between the White House, right between the Capitol building and the White House. And it's under construction now. I got it. By the way, people were shocked that I got it, but I got it. They were shocked because in the Obama, that tells you how good, and I got it for two reasons. I had the most incredible and have the most incredible financial statement. It's incredible because they want to make sure it gets built. They don't want to have it stuck. And I came up with a concept that's great. But here's the story. It's under budget, and it's 2 years ahead of schedule. 2 years. Now think of that. 2 years ahead of schedule. So we're going to open in September of this year. It was supposed to be September of like 2 years from now. Because I'm really good at this stuff. We're going to rebuild the infrastructure of our country. We're going to rebuild the infrastructure. And we're going to do it for a fraction of the cost. And it's going to be better than what they were projecting. And we're going to save, and we're going to reinvigorate our military. We're going to knock the hell out of ISIS. We got to get rid of them. They cut off heads. We got to get rid of them. We're going to knock the hell. They're not going to know what happened. We're going to knock the hell out. We're going to take care of our great veterans. Our veterans have been absolutely treated unfairly. We're getting rid of Common Core. We're bringing education locally. We're one of the worst in the world in education, and we spend the most per pupil. So we're getting rid of Common Core. We're going to do it locally with love, with love, with love. And I've seen that. We're getting rid of Obamacare. It's a total disaster, and it's being replaced. And we'll have great health care at a fraction of the cost. You'll have your all the lies that we're told to get Obamacare passed. And friends of mine are showing your costs are going up 35, 45, 55%. In 17, it dies anyway, unless the Republicans extend it. These Republicans, they keep extending. They keep giving the money to extend Obamacare, to allow people to come into the country, to allow the Syrians to come in, and we have no idea who they are. So here's what we're going to do. All right, quiet. Don't worry about it. Sit down. Sit down. Boy, did he get out fast. He's gone. You know, it's amazing. He stood up. He started shouting. I said, sit down, and he sat down. Oh, that's okay. You can keep going. No, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Protester. I never saw a protester drop so fast. I said, sit down. He sat down. That was the end of the protester. Okay, thank you. I like that protester. That's somebody we can reason with, all right? So look, we are going to do things that are so great. You are going to be so proud of what you do today. I'm going to see you in a few minutes over at caucus. But you are going to, and I do wish you could just walk in, this whole caucus system. I don't want to knock it because we're living with it right now. But don't you like it where you have a vote, you walk in, you press Trump, 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 and you leave? Instead of walking, oh, let's discuss it, let's talk for a couple of hours. What a ridiculous system. But you know what? We got to live with it, right? We have to live with it. So get in there, do a job. Hello. All right, get them out. Thank you. Thank you. That's all right. He's another quiet one. I know how tough the people of Kansas, you are tough people. How come your protesters are so weak? What's going on? What's going on? You know why? You know why they're weak? Because they know you're tough. That's why they're weak. Okay? So we're going to do things you're going to be very proud. You're going to say in a couple of years from now, that was one of the greatest mornings and one of the most important things I've ever done. Because you're going to see changes made. We're no longer going to be the stupid country. We're no longer going to be the country that gives Iran, a terror nation, $150 billion and doesn't get anything. You're going to get your prisoners back 4 years early. You're not going to have deals. We're not going to pay them $150 billion. We're not going to pay them anything. That's the kind of deals we're going to make. We're going to make real deals. We're not going to make a deal where we give over a dirty, rotten traitor. We get him, and they get 5 of the people, terrorists, that they most covet. Sergeant Bergdahl, okay? We're not making deals where 5 people were killed going after Sergeant Bergdahl. 5 wonderful young people killed going after him, and he was a deserter. And we take Bergdahl, and they get 5 people, not one person. They get 5 people that they most wanted anywhere, 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 okay? Not going to happen. These stupid deals aren't going to happen anymore, folks, okay? And let me tell you, if I have a guy like Phil Ruffin, you know, Phil Ruffin is great. If I have a guy like Phil Ruffin, one of your own, believe me, you should be very proud of him. I'll have him, let's say, Phil, do me a favor. Look over the trade deal with Japan. They're sending millions of cars. They take practically nothing from us. There's a trade imbalance that's massive. Do me a favor, Phil. Look it over. You know what, folks? Go to sleep at night. You're going to be well protected. We're not going to use our hacks. We're not going to use political hacks to negotiate the biggest deals. The other thing is, Carl Icahn, many of the great, Phil's another one, but Carl Icahn, many of the greatest business leaders in the country have endorsed me. They say Trump's the only one that knows what he's doing. We're losing companies. We're losing companies. A company like Pfizer is leaving. Pfizer, massive pharmaceutical company, they're leaving the United States. They're moving to Ireland. We're losing many. It's called corporate inversion. The politicians, I don't even think they ever heard the words, okay? I don't think they ever heard the words, so we're losing. Forget about, we're not going to let them go. Carrier Air Conditioners said they're moving to Mexico. Nabisco, moving to Mexico. Ford, moving to Mexico. Mexico's the new China, not going to happen. Carrier just announced, I will tell Carrier, good luck in Mexico, but every air conditioning unit that you make, you're going to pay a 35% tax when you move it back into this country. The hell with no taxes, folks. The hell with these guys, and I'm a conservative guy, but the hell with these conservative guys that say free trade. Trump doesn't believe in free trade. I believe in free trade more than they do, but I also believe in smart trade and fair trade, and it's not fair. With China, we have a trade imbalance. Think of this, $505 billion a year, okay? Now, that's not free trade, because you want to do business, try it. You people know. Some of you know. Try selling a product in China. You can't do it. You can't get your product in, and if you do, you have to pay a massive tax. With us, they send it in, no tax, no nothing. That's dumb trade. We're not going to have that anymore. That's why there's such a trade imbalance, and we can't have that anymore. When I say Mexico's paying for the wall, I mean it. There's a $58 billion imbalance in their favor, of course, because it's always in the other countries. We don't have wins at any level. There's a 58. Now, I'm going to say the wall is going to cost, if I do it, because I'll be under budget, ahead of schedule, I always am. But look, the wall's going to cost $10 billion. That's what the wall's going to cost, $10 billion. That's what it's going to cost. Sounds like a lot of money. It's really not that much. Oh, it's going to get tall. It's going to be very tall, and every time Mexico protests it, it's going to gain another 10 feet, okay? He said that. You saw the president of Mexico the other day throw out the F-bomb. If I ever did that, they'd give me the electric chair, okay? Nobody even talks about it. But you know what I didn't like? One thing I did like. He said, we will not pay for the wall. In other words, now he's accepted the wall, because a few months ago they said, we will not allow a wall. Well, now they said we won't pay for it. You see, so we made progress. So now they know the wall's going to happen. So now he's going to say, we won't pay for that, the wall, that wall. But he used the word, I didn't. I'll probably get more publicity even for doing this. You know, when I do this, you know what they do? They go, bleep, and everyone thinks I used the word. That's what happened last time. I said, we're not going to pay for the... And I went like that, quiet. And they go, the dishonest press, most dishonest people in the world, they go, bleep. And I got calls, Don, you shouldn't use foul language. I said, I didn't. But they bleep you out so they don't hear that you said nothing. These are really dishonest people. Okay. So what happens now is Vicente Fox, the ex-president, was so angered that he used the F-bomb, right? Nobody said anything about that. But what I really noticed is his anger was incredible. Not at the fact that the wall's being built, not at the fact that but you know where his anger was? That the fact that the United States would actually be tough with Mexico for a change. He couldn't believe it. How dare they talk to us that way? How dare they talk about a wall? This guy was incensed. So anyway, look, we're going to have a better relationship with Mexico than we do now. Remember Sergeant Tamburisi? They kept him for so long. They should have let him. We never even made a phone call. They had him in the worst prison. He shouldn't have been there. China shouldn't be building a massive military place in the middle, right in the middle of the South China Sea. So they make a fortune. They have no respect for us. They're going to make a lot less, and they're going to like us a lot more. You watch. That's what I do. That's what I do. That's what I do. So you are going to go. You are going to caucus. We are going to win. You're going to say that was one of the great mornings of your life. And in 2 years, 3 years, and 4 years, you're going to say, wow, has our country changed for the better? You're going to say, and you're going to see that our country will be the smart country. It will make the smart deals. We have to become rich again to become great again. A woman told me, Mr. Trump, I don't like it when you say our country's going to become rich again. I say, you know what, a beautiful woman, very nice woman. She said, I love you, Mr. Trump. I'm voting for you, but you should leave the rich again. I said, I can't do that. Because unless we're going to become rich again, we can never become great again. We're a debtor nation. We have no money. We owe all this money. We have no money. And we can't afford to have Germany, Japan, South Korea, Saudi Arabia was making $1 billion a day. Now they're making half. Still a lot. And we take care of their military. Why aren't they helping us out? They got to help us. They got to help us. So just watch. Do me a favor. Just relax. I'll take care of all of this stuff. You have one thing to do. You have one thing to do. Go out and caucus. And you're going to see us win, win, win. We're going to win with the military. You watch. And I hope the thousands of people that are outside trying to get in can hear this. You're going to win with the military. You're going to win on health care. You're going to win with education. We have to have great education.